There we go.
Okay.
All right, it says we're recording. Since we've set it up while we're working, because people have asked for video of us
At work.
And talking while we work, because we do, the broadcast is really just a continuation
Of
our
work.
conversations when we work.
Yeah, pretty much. And everyone is helping me with building stock for Dickens Fair in San Francisco, which I leave for in 3 weeks.
That's,
And have a lot to do before then.
I have a ton to do before then.
So they're pitching in and helping you. I don't really have an assigned task, so I'm drawing.
Okay. You can be in charge of the conversation.
Oh, okay.
keep us moving.
Keep us moving along.
Yes.
So, and part of the reason I thought this would be a good idea, rather than taking a break and going and sitting on the couch and doing the conversation from there, is there's a meme going around of someone saying that women's work back in the day, churning milk, spinning, and all that, and they didn't even have Bigfoot podcasts to listen to.
That was Nancy.
And,
said
Oh
that
yeah,
one.
I remember.
and then the point immediately under it as part of, I think it's like part of a Tumblr thread, because there's, I mean, for all that Tumblr is and isn't, it does do some great little conversations like this.
It does.
Because the response to that is that when women were, their hands were occupied but their minds weren't, that's when the storytelling happened. And tales of the scary things that lurk in the woods to scare the children and keep them from running into the woods when they shouldn't and falling and breaking their legs because children. So that was the origin of Bigfoot podcasts.
So yes, they did in fact listen to Bigfoot podcasts while they were working with things like that.
It just,
They were the originals. But I have fond memories of growing up as a little kid running around the periphery of the Grange Hall while the ladies were all, because I'd be staying with my great-grandmother, and she was a quilter. And so the ladies would all be around the big quilt frame, and they'd all be quilting and chatting, and it would be stories and the local gossip and just any topic under the sun. And I don't remember listening in on it too much because little kid I was playing with all of my friends, and quite frequently outside if the weather permitted. But in Oregon, and on the Oregon coast, the weather did not often permit. Not that you would know anything about that.
No, we wouldn't know anything about that at all. Although my grandmother used to set up her quilt frame in the on the back porch that was covered so she could quilt even in the rain. So,
Which sounds like it would be really nice and comfortable if it's not too chilly, because I know
Yeah.
my hands get achy
Yes,
when it's
it's like-
cold. But Oregon is pretty much, well, at least the Oregon coast, and I have to preface that with Central and Eastern Oregon, not so much, very dry. But the Oregon coast, very wet all the time, so if you
Yes.
can't do anything while it's being wet, then you're kind of stuck.
definitely.
And it's a tiny bit cooler than Texas.
So this whole
tiny
setup,
bit?
Oh, by the way, we have a spare.
Yes.
yes.
Hi.
We have brought Katt in. She's visiting. And
My daughter Katt is visiting. I call her Katie, but she goes by Katt. She's been down. She's down here for my birthday, which you guys are all watching this on my birthday. So
day after your birthday.
don't get to the day after my birthday.
Yes.
Oh,
Your
I'm-
birthday's on Tuesday.
I'm getting
tomorrow.
old. I don't remember June.
I mean, for the longest time, I legitimately thought your birthday was on the 13th.
Really?
Yeah, or the 8th. I never.
The 13th, as in Friday the 13th?
I don't know. It just seemed like it was either the 8th or the 13th, and there was no like.
Okay.
It's because Papa never didn't
Didn't
stuff
do
on your
anything for my birthday,
It was like
yes.
after your birthday when he realized that he missed your birthday, and he was like, "Oh shit."
This explains so much.
It's okay. I never remember my anniversary.
It's okay. I have a hard time remembering when you were born because I was like so sick. So
I mean, yeah, I have the same problem with my kids, so. I don't know if it's the 18th or the 19th most of the time, so.
Google Calendar's a thing. And a good thing, because that's how I remember everything.
I really should do a whole bunch more birthdays on Google Calendar rather than relying on Facebook, because Facebook lies.
Oh, yeah. Facebook likes to stress you out for no reason.
And I have 5 or 6 people who put their birthday on February 29th. And I know it's not February 29th because I know what
Right.
their actual birthday is. But freaking liars.
Liars.
I understand
Liars who lie.
obscuring your data on Facebook. And I really should just be like, write it down somewhere where I can remember it, but I won't.
Yeah.
Because I love them, but I'm really, really bad at things like remembering birthdays and anniversaries and all that.
Hey, in this we are similar because it's like, oh, is it somebody? I mean, it was a birthday, so I'm not really great at remembering those things.
I usually manage to remember one of our anniversaries because we have 2 wedding anniversaries. So
yeah,
my husband and I were married legally on his parents' yard, and with just like 6 people in attendance, very, very small, very family. And then we were married.
You had another ceremony.
Yeah, we had a ceremony. In a double ceremony with friends at a convention with like 100 people there.
Where I got to
And
play
it
with
was
your
a
boobs.
thing, yes.
Hi, I need to play with your boobs. Very first time I met her, it was really fun. So
she was fitting my dress. Because
that's the time I
that's
drove
what
all the
she
way
does.
across the country to the convention where I knew one person.
Why
and
is this not with the other pink ones, Mom?
Oh.
Because you weren't finished.
yeah, so. But if you want to give me my triples, we're making pin sets and pins that I sell at Dickens
You
Fair.
should have pulled up the giant thing full of pins, though.
And it's like these are the ones that are in gluing
Yes,
process.
all
currently.
the shinies.
All the sparkly.
And some of them have skulls and
evil eyes.
evil eyes, which are awesome.
And I have little skull sets that are like with little tiny
Oh yeah,
skulls.
those are cute.
Yeah,
those
that's
are
a new.
scholars with colors too.
Yeah, those are new this year.
Yeah.
And so I usually make 60 or so sets of these. And last year I came back with this one. I sold
That's it.
everything.
They
I had
sold really, really well.
this one. And so it was like, oh, darn, I need to make more.
You should
So
have more of those. Yes.
So we're making more, and it's been kind of fun because my kid is coming to hang out, and we haven't had a chance to just like sit and make things and chat. And I don't
It's
know,
funny, you moving halfway across the country actually made us get along better.
amazing, right?
That seems to be a theme in a lot of parental relationships. I get on much better with my mom.
Well, then I also started seeing a therapist again, and like,
Well, that would
That
do
helps
some of
too.
it too. But I think that it's time and distance to let you come to grips with yourself and your relationship with other people.
Yeah, I think
and also realizing that your parents are their own individual people and not just your parents in their existence.
And that's a
Helped a lot.
process. Yes, that is a process for most children. My kids are not there yet. I have hopes that one day.
just maybe.
My
Perhaps.
kids thought I was magical, and it was the weirdest. Like, of course, Mom knows we're not feeling well because Mom knows everything, and of course,
Yeah,
yeah.
it might be because we've been on the planet a long time. And when your daughter turns green, you know she's sick.
Yeah.
It's not magic; it's just experience. But
Yeah.
Well, and Logan was just absolutely certain that I knew everything my daughter was feeling. She couldn't talk to me, but he knew that I knew when she wasn't feeling well. I'm like, well, yeah, but and so I taught him how to listen to her. What this meant and what this meant, and
oh yeah.
how the different cries have different tones.
I will say it's weird, when we're not, Katie and I aren't around each other. We've gotten to the point where we just like say whatever to each other.
Yeah.
But every now and then I drop into mom mode, which I recognize I also use here at the shop. Mostly with the boys. Because I drop into mom mode of like, do this, get out of my way. What are you doing? Move that over there. And do that at conventions too.
Yeah. It's good sometimes.
No,
though.
it's not. It's not good sometimes.
There are times when it's less
Annoying.
helpful, but
So I don't want to drop into mom mode all the time. It's not fun.
well, you don't have to do it all the time. But
No.
it's kept me alive and kept other people alive because you kept me from killing them.
I can't imagine why that would be. It's communally the things we do to help each other out. So
Yes.
But yeah,
should I put this closer so they can see them closer?
you could like walk the
I'm
camera.
not gonna walk over there.
You could just
but-
like
Yeah.
see. She's been making sets,
Shiny things.
shiny
Shiny,
sets.
pretty things.
and then she gives them to me, and then I glue them into this. I'm running out of space. I'm gonna have to put things on their side.
I mean,
so,
we have.
so these are all.
If you give me a pincushion, I can stick the sets in them and then just hand you the pincushion.
that would work too.
There's like 7 of them over there.
Well, yeah, but those aren't finished. Let me
there's
go
the
get, let me go
drawer
get you another one.
Okay.
I'll get you another one.
And we're
Doing the
learning,
mom thing right now.
yes, and we're learning to work together. In a
And that's always a process.
Yeah.
That was a lovely noise.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean,
Here you go.
they're getting all the noises today.
yes.
The little clink of the beads. And
Well, when you shake the little pincushion, it makes a really fun noise. You gotta do the. Oh, that I pushed them all down. See,
Yeah, you pushed them all down.
Never
nice
mind.
and tight.
So, yeah.
Phrasing.
This is like spiky and dangerous. It's like, let's turn it sideways. It's going to be spiky and dangerous that way. Right.
I'm trying to stay out of the way.
Yeah, you're
I just
right.
realized my little paint palette wound up staying here.
Yes, we have your paint palette.
I didn't know if you looked at it, but that was
I did. It's really cute. You should look at
tiniest
this.
little paint palette. Tiny pocket palette.
Aw, that's so cute.
I had stuck it in my gear and it hadn't quite dried, so it leaked.
Oh, no.
No, it's paint everywhere.
Paint everywhere.
Happens.
Yeah.
But isn't that fun?
That's gorgeous.
That was I'm trying to do. I'm going to use these for sketches for another version of Callipygus Waltz, which is today's Inktober prompt.
I love
Wow.
that.
And I wanted the really nice hippie round, and MidJourney wants to give me straight as a stick model type figures, and I'm like, not all women look like this. Please
No,
don't.
they do not. Nor are they all 12. So, somebody's phone is going off.
Somebody's phone is buzzing, but
My mother is calling.
Your mother is calling
My mother is
you?
calling. Oh,
yeah.
we just like back and take this. Sorry,
So,
guys.
but what MidJourney does do is sometimes it
Oh,
does
see, now
really
that's beautiful. I mean, look at this.
just really pretty
Yeah.
colors and shapes. And then I can take those as inspiration and go, okay, where am I going with this?
What am I doing?
Yeah.
No, it's been really nice. I mean, because both Katie and I suffer from work ourselves to death. Sorry about that part. I apologize for inflicting that genetic strain on you. But,
Telling me I was genetically predisposed to work 6 days a week and have technically 3 jobs
yeah.
because I have no idea how to not.
Well, that's the thing, though, is I do the same thing. And it definitely isn't a straight matrilineal descendant thing. My mom has some physical issues that she can't do that. So for me, it was, I'm not actually sure why I'm like this. I just
no
am.
idea.
And I wonder if it's a personality thing or an ADHD thing. I don't know.
You know, it could be personality, ADHD, conditioning. Do all the things because nobody else does it, you know.
Yeah. I'm bored, so I need to find something to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that a lot of my issue is that. So,
Well, if you're working, though, it's easier. You don't have to think when you're working. Mm-hmm. Right?
yeah.
So, Katie, what is it? Can I ask you what your absolute best kitchen working experience was like?
When the team just came together.
I mean, when it was working and it was like poetry.
I mean, there's usually some sort of fire that I have to put out, so it's kind of
In a kitchen, somehow that's a little scary.
literally and figuratively.
I was going to say, sometimes fire in the kitchen's good. I mean, depends on what you're doing.
I don't know. Like, I have to think about that. You should have asked me that earlier so I could think about it before we did this.
You're doing the hyper focus thing.
Yeah, I am
Yeah.
hyper-focusing, like, hardcore.
She's just doing the, well, that's part of the reason that I wasn't going to do the pins is so I could actually
You could actually do that.
be part of the conversation.
Yeah, well, you
Yeah.
know.
No, it's I think sometimes you get that flow where just everyone, you don't even necessarily have to talk to each other anymore.
Yeah, you're just all like just going, and it's,
yeah, and it's beautiful.
I know there's been a couple times. It's just like it's hard to actually think of like a specific instance.
Yeah, I get that.
But when the team's all on,
Yeah.
and everything's working, and everybody knows their jobs, and everybody's doing it, and you don't have to worry about anybody flaking.
Do you know how hard it is to find a team of people that can work together that well and not have one person that is just dragging everyone down?
It is
Because that's what
incredibly
happens
hard.
90% of the time. Because
Yeah.
in kitchens, you always have like, and I guess anywhere, you always have like one person that isn't quite as skilled as everyone else or doesn't really care. Mm-hmm. And they're just kind of
Yeah.
whatever. And there's been a lot of times where it feels like that, but it also like you're having to cover for that person and kind of try to keep them like moving and keep up with everything just because they can't keep up
Yeah.
or they don't want to.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I've definitely had times like that where I was working with a group of people and I was having to compensate for someone that just couldn't or wouldn't.
Yeah.
So
And people wonder why I'm self-employed.
well, it's
If I
not
could be
even
self-employed, I would.
right.
Yeah,
I mean,
It's hard.
I'm trying to lure you out this direction with the idea of we need more good restaurants that serve Sunday breakfast.
I mean, unless you're gonna pay for me to open a restaurant, like that's gonna
we
take
need to
a while.
find it. We need to find some investors locally.
Yes.
Or not so locally, but willing to invest locally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, my daughters at one point were talking about opening a little cafe together, and I'm like, you guys really need to take business, do like business degree in community college, even just an associate's, so you at least have some idea of how to do the paperwork. Because there's a lot of paperwork.
Oh my God, there's so much paperwork.
And you can't always rely on hiring someone to know how to like to do that because then you have to pay them.
Yeah.
Right.
Get out of the box. Oh my gosh.
And the joy of being self-employed is that you get to be all the people with all the hats.
All the things.
All of them.
We.
I am both the CEO and the janitor.
Wow. And the crowd goes wild. Yay.
Yeah.
That's very much what it is.
I quit my 40-hour-a-week job to work 80 hours a week for less pay.
It really, that's what it is, and I don't think a lot of people understand that when they talk about being entrepreneurial.
Yeah, no.
Just what's involved in sitting here at this table, making up all these little bead sets, not just because they're pretty, but because cumulatively they make a big chunk of a month's rent.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I call it pin money for a reason at Dickens Fair, because if I only
Pin
sold
money.
high-end capes, I mean, yeah, it's great. I could sell 3 and do really well for the weekend, but I mean,
That's not enough to pay
It's
your
not-
bills while you're gone.
well, it cost me almost $4,000 to even go to Dickens. I mean, to even start. So, I mean, the point is, who was I telling the other day about never take away an opportunity for somebody to spend money with at your spot?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
always, put it all out, so.
Yeah.
So the point is to hit all the different price points. These hit the lowest price point in what I do. So, and they're pretty. And my whole booth is about Victorian accessories. So, and having pretty accessories. So,
because a lot of people will dress up to go, but a lot of them won't have all the accessories that kind of complete their outfit.
yes.
And that means
Right.
they'll go with, they'll be like, oh, that matches my dress, like, exactly. I have to have that.
Clearly I made it for you, which happens on a regular basis. So,
The number of times you need that finishing piece to make everything
Yes.
work
Yeah.
together.
yes. So, and that's what I do, is I try to cover all those bases. So, and it helps pay the bills. I mean, I can do a third of my sales just in the small stuff. So, but it's like when we were doing our little booth, we were doing a little booth for our AI art and stuff. We all kind of did our part and had different little things that we did, and
And different places had different
different requirements.
Yeah. And some of them we sold a lot of the pictures, but not a lot of the smaller things. But we also had a bunch of $1 and $2
Yeah.
stickers and stuff, which, basically covered the cost of the booth for
Pretty
a lot
much.
of it.
What was fun is discovering through all of that how well we do work together cooperatively. I mean,
Yeah.
because we all know our strengths and know where we live and what we do, and
And when to step back and let somebody else do it, and when
It's
to.
like, oh, look, things about Amazon. Flail point at Kortnee.
Or the, and this was interesting about setting up for Pecan, which was, okay, I found someone who knew how to put together my grids.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Ben, thank you.
Thank you. Because the number of times I've spent more time showing someone how to put together the grids, that it would just be faster to do it myself.
Yeah.
That it's like, okay, what can I do to help? Go
okay.
away.
What?
That's a very familiar feeling.
Oh.
The like when you have a prep list that's gigantic and you have someone that wants to come help, but they don't know how to do it. And that's actually a conversation I've had with a bunch of supervisors, because they're like, you just need to ask for help. You just need to get someone else to help you and you'll be fine. And it's like, it's not that I don't want their help. It's just that explaining to them what I need done is actually just going to screw me over in the long run, because I had to sit here and spend 45 minutes teaching them how to do something when I could have spent those 45 minutes doing that and 3 other things.
Yeah.
And it's...
Yeah.
Was when I was doing merchandising, I always ended up as the trainer, because one of the things I could do was I could get my work done and their work done in the time allotted, so I could teach them how to do their work and still get stuff done in under time.
Yeah.
And part of that is because I've done it so often; it's basically like second nature.
Yeah.
So my goal was always to replicate myself, because something I have found is that if you cannot be replaced, you cannot be promoted,
Yeah.
and you can't take time off.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'm trying to teach other people how to do what I do, so that if I have to step away for whatever reason, I can do that, and I'm not, screwing over everybody else, or having to come in when I need to be somewhere else.
Or you just want to stay in bed.
Sometimes.
It's like...
Which is why, like, with the press, we're making sure that I'm redundant.
Yeah.
But there are people who literally can't do some of what I do, because it's I'm putting stuff together based on my taste.
Yeah.
And that's a personal thing. But Cedar can do the formatting.
Oh, yeah.
The keywords and the back end stuff, I can go in and tweak it later. But at least one other person knows how to do that.
Yep.
Yep.
And one of the goals with intern Steve is basically teaching him everything that I do.
I forgot about intern Steve.
Okay, so like intern Steve, I'm not going to change the email 14 times, so whoever is the intern is intern Steve. So,
Or, I mean, you could just make like an innocuous...
That's exactly what
That's
we
pretty
did.
much what we did.
It's
Yeah.
not his name.
it's not his name at all.
Um,
Poor thing.
we just turned him into intern
The intern.
Steve so that we don't have to change the email.
I love that.
But he's going to learn a lot about what I do, because I
Yeah.
can do every aspect.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting to the point where I can train people on it, which is another thing that I like about working communally, is being able to, you can shadow me while I do a thing, and then after doing that a couple of times, you can go off and do your thing
Yes.
and do what I do, which is how a lot of skills got passed down, and how
Yep.
we're doing it now,
Mm-hmm. It was
which is fun.
kind of fun with this. It's like, oh, creative daughter, oh mine. I need to make pins. Okay. This is an example pin set. Okay. Here be boxes. Go.
Yeah.
And off she's gone.
And the phone call I just got was from my daughter,
Oh, yeah.
who needed help with, she's learning a piece on the baritone,
Oh, really?
and is having trouble with some of the fingerings. So I'm going to look up what she's doing and call her back.
I love it. I love our skill sets that we all have and that we trade around. I mean, it's just, why are these stuff together? We have the most unusual. It was really fun watching you chop things up over at Cedar's
That
at
was
dinner.
like literally not even like anything though. That was just parsley.
It was
for
comfort
you.
food. And you did a really wonderful job. Everybody loved it.
Does everyone know what my job is?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure so that way it wasn't like.
That was why everybody was like really looking forward to having you cook. They're
No,
like,
I
"Oh,
mean
this
like
is
for
cool."
this.
The broadcast, we
Yeah.
mentioned it.
Okay.
Oh,
Katt, Katt's a-
why don't you tell
Why don't you talk?
tell people what you do?
I make other people food for a living. I have thought about doing one of those really bad descriptions of like describe your job with absolutely no accuracy, but I'm not good at those. So, yeah, I work in restaurants and have for like over 10 years, and
She's a brilliant chef.
She
Yeah.
went to culinary school right out of high school.
yeah, and then found out the culinary school kind of sucked, and I learned more like on the job than in culinary school.
I think that's the case for most
normal.
jobs.
Well, and a lot of people actually won't hire fresh out of culinary school graduates because they have all these ingrained habits that don't make sense in the real world. Because in culinary school, they're like, you have this entire class to learn these knife cuts and do this thing, and you have to make this one dish. Where in the real world, they don't set you up for success when you come out of culinary school. Granted, I'm sure it's different at in different parts of the country where you have different culinary schools and stuff. But
Yeah.
Not really.
so many people won't hire people that are just out of culinary school because they don't want to spend the time to retrain them.
Yeah.
They'd rather hire someone who has no experience and train them. That's why a lot of people start as dishwashers in kitchens and work their way up, because it's just easier to train someone if they have no bad habits.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you did your internship right into a high level restaurant
Yeah.
with some bad habits in the kitchen.
I mean, yeah. Well, it's kitchen culture is changing as a whole, but there's still some weird dregs of weird things.
There's the meme of front of the house versus back of the house.
Oh, yeah. Well, because front of house, you have to look nice for people. That's changing a lot, though.
Looking nice for people is changing. It's widening, I think.
Yeah. It's whether, if you can clean up nice and your customer service is great, it doesn't really matter what you look like.
Yeah.
So, how is it changing?
Well, I mean, when I was first getting into the industry, there was all these stories of people that would have, their chefs throwing pans at them was completely normal, and work.
They were Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah,
The abuse of his
but
boss.
not as dramatic as Gordon Ramsay on TV, but my word is law, I am God, bow at my feet, you don't do your job right, you're gonna be out, I will throw pains at you, I'll swear at you, I will call you all sorts of names, I will belittle you and treat you like shit, and you will say thank you, because you are learning.
Yeah.
And
It's
now,
not a way to build a good team that works
No.
really well together.
I mean, I remember my first chef told me I was gonna have to work 3 times as hard as any guy in a kitchen, because
The thing about women not being good chefs.
it was because they're too over emotional,
Which is
and
weird because, I mean,
we're only supposed to cook at home, not in restaurants. Not once it's a job, it's for men. I don't know.
that is very strange.
It's I
don't know where these things come from, really.
I actually recognize what and why, and it's very much a gatekeeper mentality.
Yep.
Only us men can handle the high stress.
You can't
positions.
possibly have this as a job because you'd get stressed out so easily and you're just over emotional. Which is funny as hell because dudes in the kitchen are the most emotional shits I have ever met in my life. I had a chef that I worked for that didn't win this thing that he entered into. He got second place, not first. He punched a locker and broke his hand because he was so pissed that he didn't win.
Yep.
Which meant, of course, he couldn't work.
Yeah, which totally screwed us over. It was a whole thing. But
It was a whole thing.
that was Yeah, when we cleaned the kitchen, we got a new chef, and when we cleaned the kitchen when he left, we found like 12 different bottles of Jameson stashed or in dry storage and everywhere. So,
Oh my.
That's. Well, I'm familiar with that too.
oh gosh.
Yeah, but I mean, it is different. I mean, because, I mean, when you first started, you were like, you had to give as good as you got, you know?
Well, and nowadays it's the very much like treat people like people and treat them with respect and say thank you for your work and like recognize a lot of I mean there's those dudes who still have that old style kitchen mentality that are like, oh, everybody's getting like a participation award for showing up to work. It's like people deserve to be acknowledged for how hard they work. Mm-hmm. Even if they're doing the same thing they've done every day.
Yeah.
They deserve to be thanked for what they do. Mm-hmm. And it's not a participation award, it's treating people like people.
Yeah.
Like human beings instead of just like, that's your dishwasher or that's the guy who mops your floors at the end of the night. Like, giving recognition for hard work.
Yeah, and saying thank you for showing up today because you know what? There are a lot of openings. Mm-hmm. And if you treat me like trash, I'm going to go to the next place that will likely also treat me like trash, but will at least be appreciative that I'm there for the first few weeks. And then, yeah. No, I'm like, you can be an asshole to me, but I don't have to put up with it.
Nope.
No.
And we never did, but for a very long time, there was the mentality of, you're in a service profession, so you should be thankful you have this job. On the one hand, yeah, I was glad I had a job, but on the other hand, you know, that doesn't. I'm not a robot. You don't get to treat me like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So I'm glad that's changing in the kitchen because that was a.
Yeah, no, I never worked in a kitchen, and one of the reasons that I didn't is because I had heard the legends and rumors and how bad it was. And also because I did realize that I love cooking, but
don't do the job if you love it.
Right.
You will eventually
because I would get bored. I mean, I like to play around and tweak and work with what I've got on hand to create something that's fun and good to eat.
You know,
as I've gotten older, more successfully, more often, because it wasn't always like that.
I have to say, turning your art to your income
has downsides.
It
as
has
she shoves pins into a piece of foam.
Well, I mean, because your art is subsumed to. I mean, there's a lot to be said for doing art just because you're having fun doing art, as opposed to everything you make has to be monetized.
Yeah.
Right now in my life, everything I make has to be monetized. But I've been doing that for a long, long time. But it took me a long time to learn how to get past the way it can stifle your creativity. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, it's kind of funny. It was when I was asking Katie what she wanted to make for dinner for the gang. She was like, well, I don't know. And I was like, should we just go get pizza pockets?
Which is a completely valid choice.
Which is a completely valid choice,
It
right?
is.
Because Busman's holiday, you know, it's like, oh, wouldn't it be fun to make this costume? I'm like, no, not
Right,
really.
and I mean, I would have been perfectly willing to just cook for.
Yeah, I know.
And you guys knew that and was like, this is an option.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it is something to think about. I mean, if you love writing stories, and I've known a lot of people who love to write stories and write fanfic, and they have a hard time leaping from there to the business of writing.
Right, because
making that transition.
You have to make it into a business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
you have to take off
that's a whole other thing.
If you have to take off the artist hat and put on the business hat, which there are a lot of people who can't. Like they can only look at their art as their art and not as a marketable commodity.
Boy, and I'll tell you, they're the absolute worst salesmen for their own stuff.
They are. But
they really are.
That is a legit skill that you have to work on.
Yep. Tell me about it. Because I am not a jeweler like my daughter.
I mean, I don't make like fine jewelry
Yet.
I don't want to. That's too tiny.
That's too much work.
Yeah, I don't want to sit there for 6 hours to make a diamond ring that has 30 freaking tiny diamonds in it. Like, no, thank you.
My ex-sister-in-law, my mom bought her these wire earrings because my ex-sister-in-law is a master goldsmith.
Yeah.
And she does make the fine jewelry. But my mom got her these wire earrings that they look super simple if you don't know anything about curling wire and bending wire and going into that.
Yeah, wire wrapping is a whole thing.
That's actually what I started with.
She started with wire wrapping.
Yeah,
and then went into jewelry making.
I have some stones that I was given that will eventually get wire wrapped once I'm comfortable with doing them justice, because they were a gift from my uncle and I would like to do them justice. I have the tools, I have all the wire and everything.
We have the technology.
Right, now it's time and learning and lots of YouTube videos because it is really complex.
And the simpler they are, the more complex it feels like they are.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that do it and do a really crappy job, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Oh, there's voice of experience all over my child at this point.
I'm sorry, but if you're a 45-year-old dude who says you can do better wire wrapping than a 17-year-old girl who is outselling you every time that she sets up her table next to yours, but you're still the best wire wrapper in town, like,
Maybe not.
learn to...
I sense a story.
That one did sound like the voice of experience.
Yeah, it's just it seems to be a common theme is that I don't know if it's just like with everything that I've chosen to do, but it seems like every time I jump into a new hobby or a thing that I find that I'm really good at, and I've tried to start pursuing it, there's always these older guys who are just like, oh, you're never gonna get far with that, or like, oh, and I've realized it's because they might be threatened by the fact that I'm very naturally talented with certain things.
And you are.
And it's not just you. I mean, they're threatened by you're hearing it from them because you're the one that in their face right at that moment. But it's not just you.
Rising tide lifts all boats. Teach me how to do things, and I will teach you how to do things that you may not know.
Exactly.
God.
And there are people out there that will.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm writing stories for joy. This has been a thing for me this year. And I'm writing stories for other companies. Because and going
as
through
a
the
pure
slush pile.
marketing thing, you need to be doing that anyway because
But it's not. I don't have to worry about which of our anthologies is this going to fit in. Which am I going to? I don't want to buy my own stories because that's
that's
terrible.
not the point.
It's not the point. So, but I also want to write things for fun.
Yes.
And so I'm like, okay, so this is what I'm doing for work. That looks like fun. I'm going to go play for a few days and go do that. And that is a lot of fun to do. And I know at one point, very early in my career, I went rounds with people because with a gentleman who was not a gentleman at all, who was threatened by what I was doing, and just went off on me about how I was doing everything wrong and everything was terrible and I should just quit. And I'm like, and having a little bit of perspective, like, oh, you were threatened by me. Did not realize that at the time. But now I can write stories for fun, send them to people, and if they don't like them, it doesn't impact at all. And if someone's threatened by me, it doesn't impact anything at all.
You still get the joy.
I still get the joy of writing it, and that's actually been a lot of fun. So,
yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pressure to perform when you have to sell it, know. And from the land of.
I'm constantly learning more things, and I know you are too. And it's
and me sitting over here drawing and using photocomposite techniques and then playing around with different ink brushes to give different textural techniques, and that's what Inktober really is a learning thing. Because you're pushing yourself. Every day you have to come up with the composition that goes with the prompt. And in my case, because the fans are just a little bit sadistic in the nicest possible way.
A little bit crazy, let's be
Some
fair.
of the prompts are a challenge.
She's doing Inktober.
Yeah.
Yeah, and oh my God, when they posted,
I was there for that conversation. I got to see that play out in real time.
Yeah.
And it
I just was
amazing.
like,
And they like to come up with words that they think I'm going to have to look up. And last year they got me with 4 words. This year they got me with 2 that I had to look up the meaning of. This is what I get for having a larger than average vocabulary. Sometimes people take it as a threat, and other people take it as a challenge.
let's do this. Okay.
I literally had an English teacher tell me to stop using so many big words when I was in high school. And I really wasn't trying. So yeah, no, it's absolutely fun, and for this year, I love the shinies.
You need to go show them.
That's
Go dance at
very.
night.
That's like mermaid scales.
That is
all the
really-
shimmery
Well, that's
colors.
The beads are really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Not tripping over the steamer.
Yeah, do not fall over. You will eventually get that.
Well,
Eventually.
okay.
It's only been there a year.
Will we?
It's been there 2 years. Because I've been looking for 2 years for a table to go underneath my little refrigerator I have over there that is 4-legged so I can put the steamer under it.
Yes.
And I have not found the table. So,
And I had a thought, and it hasn't quite materialized yet.
yeah,
working
we're having this perpetual thing of we have all these great ideas, which are very often happen when we're sitting around a table just like this, doing things and creating that we're like, we could do blah. And then we're like, oh my God, how would
your little hasn't that how Raconteur Press started?
Yes.
Yeah.
More or less.
it might have been a thing.
It was a dare.
It was a dare.
Back in your press started on a dare.
Are you serious?
Yes. So, this Ian wrote a little vignette, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, that should be a story." And he was like, "I'm not going to do that." And then I challenged him over lunch to put out a request on his Facebook, and how many people would contribute stories to a Ghosts of Malta anthology, and 36 people responded. And like 4 months later at TollCon, we had the book out, and then he got drunk at Fool's Con, and then Space Cowboys happened, and here we are. But it was one of those classic, the thing about how the kids learn not to stand still next to me at the school.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew that already. You were always gone. It's like, just get the fuck away from my mother. She'll make me work. Oh, okay. I'm out of space.
You're out of space?
What do you need?
Well, these are
No,
singles.
I mean this thing. I'm out of space.
These are all singles. Can you get me another I'm going to go get another pincushion.
Well,
So I
okay.
can sort them.
So you know what? You can put triples over there and on that one too and on this one. And I'm going to stop gluing because my fingers are all sticking together. I'm sticky.
You know what? Just
Now you don't have space
you
to
gave
work
me too
over
many
there.
options.
I've been
Take
trying.
those.
Okay, and I'm just going to put them onto my
Sometimes
big
in
one.
life you just need less choices.
Yeah.
Too much is.
That's exactly.
One of my kids had trouble with restaurants because there were too many choices on the menu. And they would melt down because it was just too much, too many choices. And I would be like, "Can I order for you? Is that okay?" And sometimes it was, and sometimes I got the trust of, "Yeah, you can order for me," and which chicken tenders is always a go-to.
Yeah.
But you can rarely go wrong with chicken tenders. But there was one place that was a Vietnamese Philippine fusion place this kid actually liked, and I could order stuff for them there, but the menus were like a ledger-sized sheet of just like regular typewriting, so like, I don't know, 2 columns, over 100 options.
Can you separate those by color?
And a lot of the
There's
options
4, so.
were not in English. So you kind of had to know what a banh mi was.
Right.
Which we all do.
Speaking of which I had one today that
Yes.
was so fucking good.
We
Oh,
went
good.
to
Oh
Taste
my
of
God.
China.
I
They
have
went
been
to-
wanting to go to
was
Taste
so
of China.
good.
Yeah. I've got to get over there.
It was like, oh.
We went for lunch today, and oh my god! And I walked in, and there were the chairs in front of the counter. And I'm walking, like, "Where's my chair?" He's like, "You haven't been in." And I'm like, "And?"
He's not putting chairs in front of the counter now?
But they were stacked up to the side, so I went and got 2
okay.
of them out and put them out in front of the
gotta-
counter.
I should have done
Fine.
that because I took Sanford in there. We sat in one of the tall ones,
can't
and it
sit
made
in those.
him really uncomfortable.
Yeah,
so.
no, you can just sit right in front of the sushi place, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, no. So I went.
Plus,
and,
he's
like,
a great
made myself
guy.
comfortable.
So,
So much fun.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So,
they
Told him I
were-
was your kid.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
First time I went in there with her, it's like, oh, is this your mother? And I was like, no. It's like,
That was my roommate's daughter. She's like, oh, okay.
where's your roommate?
Yeah,
She's
that's
working.
actually exactly what it is. And where is she? I'm like, she's working. What does she do? Things.
How do you answer that?
Like,
I mean,
she's doing
stuff?
she's doing paperwork today. Like, she's like, oh, like she works for herself. Okay, and she didn't do paperwork yesterday. What does she do? I'm like, yeah. Lots of things. She's creative.
I make people
and
wear
beautiful.
pants.
You make pants.
Well, I try
Pants
to.
happen around you.
It's happening.
Randomly, pants appear.
That should be on your business card, Mom.
No, my business card says she who makes them wear pants. So, I mean,
Pants are overrated.
Pants are
Pants
highly
are over-
overrated. It's true.
pants are overrated. Yeah.
This is why I wear skirts a lot.
Did you see the comment? Okay, so guys, on North Texas Troublemakers, somebody put up a post-apocalyptic picture of 4 women and somebody up the
Oh,
front,
yes,
right? And then I
yes.
put my comment on Kortnee. Jonna, next time, don't summon a demon when you're trying to cook Cedar cook dinner. And then somebody after that went, there's somebody up front. Oh, that's Ian standing up front looking pretty. So, because it's
Soaking
literally
up
what,
the incoming fire, as he does.
because that's exactly what he does. I mean, and his business card says stands up front and looks pretty. So
I love that.
That's Ian's job.
that's Ian's job. That's what he does. So I
He's kind
mean,
of figuring out how that works. Like, I just,
yes,
yeah. I need you up front.
he's also now. We should put new cards for him that say, "We need to talk."
Oh my gosh. He frightened people with that. What were you expecting, man?
You can't just send someone like we need to talk and then not like
That's
Well, it wasn't even like a
everybody gets
context.
anxiety.
Everyone needs context.
right?
Some of them were text messages, and some of them were he just called them on the phone. We need to talk. Yes, sir. How did you get my number? Don't ask that.
I have my
heard
face.
that.
I have my face.
I heard that, and the person on the other end of the phone was like, "Was it Cedar?" And I'm like, "It wasn't me."
I didn't know it wasn't me. So I didn't know.
I'd have given him a heads up to be like, "It's okay, don't worry.
No, it's
reason to
all right."
Be anxious.
This is a good thing.
What? Ah. So,
Yeah, no, that.
but yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was very.
That's the wrong one. I've put the wrong
Ooh,
thing
that
on
one's
this 3 times.
purpley and
already.
shiny. I just saw the bead you were working with.
Ooh, there's one over here.
Ooh, all the iridescence.
Yeah, there's like a whole situation.
It's very sparkly.
Sparkle.
Yeah.
It's one of my regrets is
Sparkly
when I'm
sparkles?
doing like
I
traditional
just thought
art.
of Sparkle covered in sparkles. Death by glitter.
See, my kid does it too.
I love it.
You're welcome.
I wander around and just sort of like throw shit all over the floor for people to pick up and run with. So,
This is a great idea.
and you just did it. It was wonderful.
Sometimes we need ideas, and sometimes we don't, but we get them anyway.
I can imagine that's.
It's a great idea. Free to a good home. Or bad home. Or just any home, take it away.
I have people who are mad at me about that. So.
You know, it'd be a really fun, like, because you guys do the. I heard one of you talking the other day about the convention postcards.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just thought of a really cute idea of, like, you would just have a hat and it has, like, one sentence that they have to start their story with. And it's like, here's this, and here's your postcard, and go. And even if it doesn't match, they just got to figure it out.
That is an evil. I like it. The problem with doing the postcards is the fact that the back end of the book is more than the book's worth.
That's fair.
But if we did that and we did
like
the
a workshop
Substack
thing.
appearance,
Yes. Oh, we could definitely do that.
so because we've been talking about having people guest appearances in the Raconteur newsletter as the prize for doing the
Yeah,
the challenges.
Their story is the one that gets featured for.
You know, we
Yeah.
talked about doing story in a box, but story out of a hat seems kind of.
It
And we've
seems-
got some great hats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of hats here.
I have hats. Not that I ever wear them, but I mean,
You've worn them. There's photographic evidence of you actually wearing some of these, so.
yes,
It's true.
it's true. But you know, so what do you guys think of that one?
That sounds like
Throw
fun.
that one out to the audience, see what they think.
Yeah, because the name of the last postcard book, the one we just did, is called Never Again.
It was
No.
changed to Last Call.
Last call.
Last call, and I did a really great bar scene.
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
I still haven't decided which one I'm going to use because I'm not sure I want to do the green ape because, well,
well, but I do like the mirror.
I like
Yeah.
the idea. The one character I came up with is the same character from Postcards from Mars, so
Yeah.
using him in
Yeah.
a slightly different setting brings it back
Yeah.
around.
It makes a nice
So,
bookend.
yeah.
It's good.
I like it. That'll be fun. Yep, I'm getting there.
Oh, it's like
But these are done.
here's a bag of skulls.
Bag of skulls.
Bag of skull pins. That's a fun one to put up later.
This one doesn't have a hole in it.
What?
I picked that one up like 7 million times since I started this project.
It doesn't have a hole in it.
That's why I don't want it anymore.
That's very annoying.
No.
Oh, you know, we might actually wait on those until
have-
until I get these
Yeah, you need
on
more.
cards because
You definitely need those on cards.
this is very spiky.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to get my gear out of the way because I am done with my
Are you done with your Inktober for
Calipagus
today?
waltz. I wound up doing
wanna share?
two. Yeah.
Can you share today?
Yeah,
the
I
camera.
can.
So
I wound up doing two versions because I did one that's all line weight, all ink work, and it's okay, but it's not what I really wanted to do for Inktober. So that's the first one, and so very very simple, very minimalist, which is my tendency to do.
yeah.
But this one has more of a story.
Oh, I like that
I don't know
one
what the story is,
Oh.
but Sam Robb will tell me
because he's writing the story.
Because
he's
writing
been
the
writing
story.
the story to the illustrations.
I love
So-
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just kind of went nuts with her skirt, and it turned into this whole thing with there's giant fishes.
I wouldn't know anything about that. I just kind of went nuts with her skirt, and it's just.
Well, and the whole the mermaid skirts, the ones that they kind of flow down and then whoosh,
Yep.
I love
all the
those.
skirt.
I don't think that one's straight.
I don't think it's straight either.
It is not straight. You are correct.
I saw that. I don't know why you're being polite. She's just sitting here. You know, it's very much just been a hangout today. Just hanging out with us.
Well,
Yeah.
and then we brought these guys in to hang out with us too on the
Yeah,
with
so
the
just
camera.
Kinda
So-
just kind of sit around the table and talk about shit. So
yeah.
yeah.
It's a hangout day. It was a fun hangout day. Mm-hmm. We went to the mall.
They went to the
I went to
mall.
the mall and it was very fun.
My daughter yesterday was like, "I need to go to the mall." I said, "Have a great time."
Well, one of my
I love you.
coworkers
Yeah.
One of my coworkers requested that while I'm in Texas, I find the most obnoxious, like, giant Texas coffee cup that I could find. So we went to the mall, and we went to, what was it called?
Texas Souvenir?
Texas Souvenir, wherever. It's, yeah.
Yeah.
And we literally straight in the door of the mall, straight into the store, and it was right there.
Yeah.
That makes it easy.
Cool.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
And I was like, do you want to walk around and see how empty the mall is? Yes, let's do that.
And then going to Hot Topic when you have adult money.
Yeah.
Because Hot Topic was my favorite store.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah, we would go there, but not very often.
yeah.
Well, I got dressed to do this, and my husband's like, "Is that Pippa's top?" My daughter's goth, so I'm like, "No, I bought this one myself. This
Bought
is
it for
mine."
me.
I love that shirt.
It's super comfy. That's why I'm wearing it.
Yeah. We went to Hot Topic and my inner child squeed and watched her, and then I watched her shop. I'm like, this is so much fun. Here, I will hold your cup.
Doesn't have a hole in one end.
What?
It doesn't have a hole. Phrasing.
Does it need hair? Like,
I'm on a roll today.
It just needs. I mean, I probably should get my Dremel over here. A little tiny bitty.
Oh, it's not worth it.
Not worth it.
I mean, it's just.
There's like 40 million more. This needs to be one. This one is super cool.
that
is a very
that's really
cool-
cool.
There you
it's
go.
really big too. So
There you go. It has a hole now.
Jonna put a hole in it.
You gave me something to stab, and it was fun. You just have to go from the other end and stab it.
Skull with a bow tie.
Yep.
Yes, it's very cute.
It's very cute.
It's cute.
I like those ones.
I have other bow tie ones too. I have little red bow ties and little purple skull pins with purple skulls with purple bow ties.
One
and
again.
It's very silly. And evil eye pins, which sell instantly.
Oh, yeah, I'm
so
sure.
it's really amazing how fast
I mean, if
those
you
go out
sold
the
those
door.
online too, they'd go really fast.
I did have them online, and they did not go very fast. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Online stores are hard, and it's the same thing with books. It's discoverability.
Yeah.
You can have a store, but people need to know that it's there.
Yeah.
They need to be able to find it. They need to be able to use it easily.
Yeah.
So one of the things that, because I had, and still have on my site, but I haven't made a sale in months. But one of the things I ran into is that I initially set it up using WooCommerce, so it was all PayPal, because WooCommerce is PayPal. And then I had people coming to me and be like, I don't have PayPal, I want to be able to just use my debit or my credit card. So I went through the trouble to set that up, because it's a little bit different. But the doggone thing still it makes it look like you have to sign up for PayPal in order to make the payment, which I don't want, because that's not what my customers want. So now I'm like letting it go dormant. But you can have a site and a shop, but unless people know it's there,
Yep.
then and that's the problem. That's why Etsy is so big, even though Etsy's pretty much
Etsy's awful.
useless crap at this point.
Yeah.
And eBay is the same way. You could put stuff on eBay, but it gets lost in the
You got it. It's like Amazon. You have to know your keywords and your algorithm, and they change it like every 3 months, which is incredibly annoying.
yeah.
There was a rant somewhere about that.
I'm
this
sure.
weekend. Because they did it yet again, and it's
no.
like
And it's
yeah.
and that's the same thing with like search engine optimization used to be the thing with websites, but they kept changing the algorithm because people will game the system. Once they know there's a system and can identify the patterns, they'll game it. And all of the poor innocent schmuck businessmen that are just trying their best to get their stuff out there get caught when the algorithms change and get shoved way down.
Yep.
So it's the same thing with brick and mortar stores. Really, it's location. And if your website's not getting the traffic, then you're not going to make the sales.
Yep.
So, and one of the ways to combat that is to go to local events.
I'm not done yet. Don't look at it. Gosh.
is to go to local events and have Mrs. cards to hand out,
Yep.
or have a presence and make people aware that you're this person that does this really cool things.
Yep. And it's work.
Yeah, it is work. And then you can do things like you can put your stuff into stores on commission basis, which is
a pain in the ass because you have to go be nice to people and convince them you have nice things. And if you're an introverted artist, it's really hard.
well, it's a pain in the ass on several levels. But again, it makes people aware that you exist, and that you have nice things.
Yep.
And they might be able to commission you to make unique things,
Yeah.
which not enough people do.
That's a big yawn.
Yeah,
Are you struggling?
I think
It's fine. I'm
wearing
fine.
down.
Boy, there's a phrase I've heard for 25 years. So,
Haven't we all? I think every mother gets that one. It's not unique to you.
no, it's fine. So you've hung out with us for an hour, and there's been some information in this, but it's mostly just hanging out with us while we're working.
Yep.
So,
Chit chat.
Yep. So
And
I hope you guys
chit-chatting.
enjoyed hanging out with us.
oh, that's cool.
Oh, that's
Yes.
fun.
Oh,
I
that's
like
cool.
that.
That
Should
feels very
you-
steampunk.
You
It
should show
does
it to
feel
the
very
camera.
steampunk.
Oh god.
Knees are a thing.
There it is.
There it is. Someone's phone is going off.
Kim Likely really wants to get a hold of me.
Yeah, I've had several of those myself today.
You know?
It's handy that they identify themselves, though.
Yes, it is. So lots of work got done. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
This was fun.
A
Yep.
good hour.
Yeah, it's amazing what a bunch of people sitting around chatting about stuff can get done in an hour.
Yeah.
So,
Do we have announcements for this one? Space Cowboys 3 is out. Already
yes.
came out.
So we have a special guest who's going to be on the boys live stream on Tuesday. The let me get my calendar
On
out.
a Tuesday.
On Tuesday, the 10th, there's going to be a special guest. Casey Azel's going to be on with the guys,
Oh,
and All
cool.
Will Burn will be publishing the 13th of October. So,
Oh my gosh, is it that?
Panic!
I have the cover done, so
You
I
have
don't know
the
what I'm
cover
worried
done.
about.
It's like, I don't know why you're panicking. The stories are in and all the contracts are back, so we're good, except for our postcard, interestingly enough. So,
Speaking of postcards, how are we doing on?
shh.
Okay.
That whole paperwork thing.
Yeah.
So, plus we're all really busy right now.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
So, guys, the Never Again one, which I'm still going to call Never Again, is taking a little longer, but that's okay. So,
Yeah. It's the last one. It'll be worth
it's
the
like-
wait.
We want to do it right.
So,
do we want anyway?
yeah.
But we had a bunch of great stories come in at the last minute for September 30th closing. We have. Not sure what our next one up is because I didn't look at our schedule. But the most important thing is Casey's going to be on Tuesday at noon Central with the boys. So,
Talk about or All Will Burn.
Yeah.
We've got some amazing stories.
oh
for that,
my
I
lord,
think.
yes,
Yeah.
really, really amazing stories.
I
So,
think you guys will like that one.
yep.
So yeah, check out the calendar.
Oh, and then
What's coming
Moggy's is
next.
up next. Moggy's is at the end of the month.
Moggy's
So,
at the end of the month, okay.
Moggy's too. So,
Okay. I'm working out my calendar. It's in my
that's
head
okay. It's
somewhere.
right. It's fine. That's the other thing.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
And then we're going to start with open calls for 24 and 24.
Yay!
So, I like that one too. That one's cool.
Stripey.
Ooh.
Stripey.
Ooh,
Yeah. Again, with the kind of steampunky. I like it.
kind of like steampunk circus.
Yeah, it does have that feel.
I like it.
Very top heavy.
Very cool.
I think we're done here.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for coming by, guys.
Thanks for hanging
We're gonna
out.
clean up, and we will see you next week.